What is going on, guys? This is the Misfit Wrestling Podcast, and this is your NXT review for October the 15th, 2024. I'm host Matt, the Misfit. This is the first of many weekly NXT shows coming from the new era of NXT featuring Giulia, Stephanie Vaquer, Delta. All of them are coming in. We're going to talk about all of that happened on the show tonight. Stuff that's going to be happening next week. Matches made official for NXT's Halloween Havoc, which is going to be next Sunday night. I will be here that Sunday for Halloween Havoc. And that was the other show I forgot about that I was going to record a podcast for. For some reason, I thought, well, I might do the Goddess Tag League both nights. I am going to do that, but I'm also going to do Halloween Havoc. So I'm going to have a lot of fun next weekend. And good stuff there. Please hit the like button, comment down below, hit the subscribe button, youtube.com/@Misfit Podcast. Pile Driver Pulse on Twitter, Misfit Wrestling Pod on Instagram. Even though Instagram is being weird, it doesn't want to actually post anything. Anyways, who knows? Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Audible, plus Pandora, where you can find the audio outlets for tomorrow's episode of the Pile Driver Pulse is going to come up. I'm going to let you guys know about that because we're going to go over the Goddess Tag League, which I believe is going to be, I think they're going to reveal the teams for tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure. Which I believe 7 p.m. Joshi time. That's at 6 a.m. I'm not going to be awake for that. But I might. I don't know. See. So, yeah, tomorrow's going to be the Pile Driver Pulse. We're going to go over that tomorrow. We're going to go over Wrestle Dream, and I'm going to preview AEW Dynamite, which is tomorrow. We're going to do all of that. Actually, no, we're not going to preview AEW Dynamite tomorrow. What am I talking about? Pile Driver Pulse is going to happen after Dynamite. So, all that stuff and much, much more. If you guys looked up on the channel yesterday, we eventually put up the Monday Night review, where we saw the return of the War Raiders, women's tag team titles on the line. Gunther and Sammy, Cody Rhodes came face to face. All that stuff on the channel right now. Go look it up. Be seen. Matches made official for NXT. I almost said Heatwave. NXT Halloween Havoc 3 matches, to be precise. 2 matches that have stipulations now because of, excuse me, I accidentally hit the microphone. For Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal, a classic concept from the WCW era, back in the day, during the old school era of Halloween Havoc. I want to say around, when did they stop doing that? They stopped doing that. I think they stopped doing that. So, if you guys don't know, the Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal concept was introduced at the 1992 Halloween Havoc event that had matches such as Ron Simmons defending the WCW title against the Barbarian. Rick Rude defended the NWA World Heavyweight title against Masahiro Chono, which was an excellent match, by the way. I suggest you guys go watch that. Barry Windham, Dusty Rhodes went to a time limit draw with Steve Williams and Steve Austin for the WCW and NWA tag team titles. Steve Boat and Brian Pillman were on that show. That show was main evented by a coal miners glove between Jake the Snake Roberts and the Icon Sting. They brought that back in 2020. They used to call, they did one called, Raw Roulette and all that stuff, but NXT had revived it for the Halloween Havoc event in 2020. Of course, on that show, we saw, if I can find it here, give me a second, Halloween Havoc. So on that show, the original one, we've seen the main event of Io Shirai, now known as Io Sky, defending the NXT Women's title in a TLC match against Candice LeRae. Also, I believe the Devil's Choice was on that first NXT Halloween Havoc show. Devil's Playground, which was Johnny Gargano defeating Damian Priest to win the NXT North American title. House of Terror, Dexter Lumis, now in the White 6, defeated Cameron Grimes, and I believe some other stuff happened on that show as well. But yeah, spin the wheel, make the deal, came back tonight. We found out which 2 matches on Halloween Havoc next weekend are going to have the stipulation here. Because the show opened with the new NXT North American champion, Tony D'Angelo. Tony D'Angelo says he wanted to come to the ring and celebrate his North American Championship win without his family. Says that as he needed to win his title by any means necessary. He then says that he baited Oba Femi into thinking he broke him. Then he then proposes a toast to Oba Femi. Femi comes out and says Tony D'Angelo got him. Then says at NXT's Halloween Havoc, he will regain the NXT North American Championship, and will once again become the ruler of NXT. But his family won't be at his side. He spins the wheel to make the deal for the Halloween Havoc match, and ends up being a tables, liars, and scares match, which is basically a tables, liars, and chairs match. It's going to be the first singles TLC match in WWE since TLC 2020, where Roman Reigns defeated Kevin Owens to retain the WWE Universal Championship. Now, the last actual TLC match was actually last year, at last year's Halloween Havoc. That was when it was a TV special. The Creed brothers defeated Los Lotharios on that show last year on Halloween, nonetheless. But yeah, I'm very looking forward to that. I enjoyed their match last week. I thought their match last week for the NXT North American title was very, very good. Excellent match. Now you got weapons involved. Oba Femi is his own weapon, right? He doesn't need weapons. He is his own weapon. And I'm becoming a fan of Oba Femi from the stuff I've been watching on NXT lately. So I cannot wait to see what he does next. Will he win the NXT North American title back? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I would love for him to be the one next, whoever wins the NXT title coming out of Halloween Havoc. We'll talk about that when we get to the end of the show. But I think Oba Femi, if he doesn't win the NXT North American title here, he should absolutely go for the NXT Championship afterwards. If not, then make him go to the main roster. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That should be very, very good. Then after that we have Stephanie Vaquer making her in-ring debut for WWE, or technically her in-ring television debut, as of course she's had 2 matches on the Mexican tour that they had earlier this year. She defeated Isla Dawn, but this is her first televised match here. She took on Wren Sinclair from No Catch Quarter Crew. This match wasn't very long, but it wasn't a squash match. Because I love what they're doing now, what WWE is doing now, when they introduce these new talents, which I'm assuming this is going to be the same way when we get to SmackDown on Friday for the Motor City Machine Guns. It's not, we're gonna debut these guys and they're gonna squash the people they're wrestling. We saw it with Giulia against Chelsea Green. Giulia and Chelsea Green was in a squash match. Giulia did all of her move sets, right? Chelsea Green helped her get over a little bit. Same thing happened here with Wren Sinclair. They locked up here, go back and forth. Sinclair locks in a bridging double chicken wing and a Fujiwara armbar. Vaquer makes it back to her feet, rolls up Sinclair. Sinclair kicks out. with the two. We then see on a picture-in-picture thing of Roxanne and Cora Jade watching on the back. They leave, so I'm like, well, I know where this is going. Vaquer connects with a leg drop onto Sinclair, then sends her head repeatedly bouncing off the mat, which I'm not going to make a joke there because you horny bastards. Sinclair levels Vaquer with a shoulder tackle, high crossbody. Not high crossbody, just a regular crossbody. Then follows it up with a double underhook suplex, which looked very, very good, by the way. I'm very impressed with Wren Sinclair during this match here because she is growing on me. I'll talk about her a little bit more in a second. Sinclair charges at Vaquer, then moves out of the way, delivers a dragon screw. Beautiful, like that. Anyone who can do a dragon screw quite like the Great Muta, chef's kiss there. She follows it up with a Meteora, then a package pile driver, package backbreaker for the win, and Stephanie Vaquer in a very good showing for Vaquer gets her in-ring television debut in NXT. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty good here. Before I get into what happened next, like I said, Wren Sinclair has been growing on me. And it speaks a lot when she's around. People like Charlie Dempsey, who we know as the son of William Regal, Miles Bourne, who's doing some great stuff. Tavon Heights, who did incredible work in the N1 earlier this year for Pro Wrestling Noah. So, yeah, I love that. Yeah. After the match, though, what I didn't love was Roxanne Perez and Jade Cargill. Cora Jade attacks Stephanie Vaquer. Giulia then comes out to make the save, takes down Cora and Roxanne with her beautiful drop kicks. Jade and Perez tried to overpower Giulia, but Giulia leveled them with her, like I said, her double drop kick, sending them crashing to the outside of the ring with Vaquer. Vaquer grabs the microphone. It says, and challenges her, those two. So she challenges Roxanne and Jade to a tag team match against her and Giulia at NXT Halloween Havoc. And then later we found out that that match was made official by Ava, the NXT North America, the NXT general manager here. So it seems like they're going to hold off Giulia's coronation for the NXT women's title for possibly show Deadline. I'm assuming they're going to bring that back. I absolutely can see Giulia win the NXT the women's title at Deadline, and Stephanie Vaquer win the what's that damn match called? The Iron Survivor. Maybe we'll see. Yeah, but I think that's what's going to happen here. So that's another match on the card for NXT Halloween Havoc, the tag match between Stephanie Vaquer and Cora Jade versus Stephanie Vaquer and Giulia versus Cora Jade and NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez, which is very strange not to see the NXT Women's title not to be defended on a pay-per-view. Very strange here. So then we have a match between Lexis King and Ora Mensah. This is called a gentleman's duel here. I forgot the rules of this match here. Let me see if I can find the rules here because I wanna get this correct before I fuck it up, if that makes sense. So give me a second here. A gentleman's duel. Okay, so here are the rules of the gentleman's duel. All violations will result in a disqualification, which is can't strike an opponent when they have 4 points of contact on the ground, can't throw opponent over the top rope or into the floor. Competitors have until the referee's count of 3 or not 5 to break the ropes. There is absolutely no fighting on the floor. So that's a weird thing here. But so we're gonna get to the end of this match here. Mensah lands a rolling kick on King. Then gets fired up. Lexis King delivers a shoulder to his midsection, to Aura's midsection, through the middle rope. This is the top rope, but Mensah sends him crashing off of it with a kick. Delivers a single leg drop kick from the top rope, off the top. Goes for a pin. Lexis King kicks out. Lexis King then rocks Mensah with a super kick to the jaw. Mensah crashes him with a clothesline, and sets him up for a kick on Lexis King in the corner. Lexis King avoids it. Sets up with the coronation, but Mensah reverses into a roll up. Lexis King escapes, executes a jackknife pin onto Mensah. Mensah kicks out, pins King. King reverses it into his own pin and gets the win here. So Lexis King gets the win here. Kind of trying now. It seems like he's trying to invoke a little bit of his dad now into it. Even though that when he first came into NXT, he wasn't going to do that. I was kind of looking forward to him being Brian Pillman, like a loose cannon. We haven't seen that yet. I think we're going to eventually, because this character, Lexis King, I don't know, this version of Brian Pillman, I don't know. I'm not too keen on it. I preferred him because when he first did those Lexis King vignettes, it seemed like they were going straight into, well, I'm going to be a new version of Brian Pillman. But that's not what happened here. So we're going to see what they do here. So who knows here? Last week, it was set up that Lola Vice was, I guess, interrupted a meeting of some sort between Nikkita Lyons and Ava Raine. And then we had some back and forth there. And Ava basically set up this match for tonight, which is Lola Vice versus Nikkita Lyons. This match is for the sickos out there, and I'm not talking about the sickos who love pro wrestling. So basically, here's what's going down here. We're going to go straight to the end here. Vice and Lyons rain down some right hands on one another. Lola Vice fires off her signature rapid fire kicks, follows it up with a hip attack, then lands a scissors kick. Jada Parker comes out of the ring because Jada Parker, for some reason, has an issue. Oh, actually, I do know why. Because Jada Parker kind of left Lola Vice during their tag match against Fatal Influence back in Chicago, and now she's had an issue with Lola Vice and them going at it here. She tries to get distracted. Technically, it works here because after Lola hits Jada Parker with a kick, Lola Vice gets hit with a super kick, and then while the referee's distracted by Lyons, Jada Parker hits a hip attack onto Lola Vice, throws her back into the ring, opens the door for Nikkita Lyons to hit the Vader bomb onto. She calls it the Lions Roar, but it's the it's the fucking Vader bomb for the win here. To further that feud, this match was nothing. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is the mismatch. We know who this match is targeted towards. Okay, I'm not even gonna try to ignore that part of it. But the feud between Jada Parker and Lola Vice keeps going. So next up, we had let's see if I can find the video package that was announced. We had a video package of of Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. They challenged the Sky Pirates to a match next week on NXT, so that is made official. Speaking of other tag matches here, so Ava was talking to Giulia and Stephanie Vaquer, where she made the match official between Roxanne and Cora versus Stephanie and Giulia. Fatal Influence walks in, trying to demand an NXT North American Championship match because early in the night, Trick was talking to Kelani Jordan, trying to decide, who's going to be her next opponent for the women's North American title. And, they're trying to say, well, we should be next in line because these two get what they want. And it was basically like, well, these two have a valid reason to get but mostly Giulia has a valid reason to get a rematch for the NXT women's title. So she said, if you want a shot at the North American women's title, how about one of you two take on Stephanie and Giulia next week? So not only do we have the Sky Pirates taking on Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, where I think the Sky Pirates can get their licks back and get a win here. We're also going to see Stephanie Vaquer and Giulia take on Fatal Influence next week, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to get a interaction between Giulia, Stephanie Vaquer, Io, and Kyrie. Fingers crossed. That's all I'm hoping for there. Now to say a bit of things that happened on the show, because I don't want to leave out any backstage interview stuff. So we had Byron Saxton, who I haven't seen in forever, show up. He is trying to interview Tatum Paxley at her dollhouse thing. Jada Parker kind of interrupts that whole thing, and Tatum Paxley's not having it. She says, "I know you're playing with Lola Vice, but you're interrupting my playtime." And Jada Parker's like, I ain't got time for this shit. She walks off because as you guys know, Tatum Paxley is feuding with Wendy Chu, who is also doing a little stuff there with Rosemary. And in the background, you see Wendy Chu kind of stalk Tatum Paxley there. So a lot of women's stories going on in NXT, which I'm very for. Not a lot on the main roster for Triple H, but he is trying, whether people like to admit it or not. But I feel like he is trying. You gotta be patient. Be patient. Who's not gonna be patient though is Ridge Holland, because he just beat that ass of Riley Osborne. Riley Osborne trying to avenge the two beatdowns that Ridge Holland gave Chase, Andre Chase and Duke Hudson a couple weeks ago, the past few months there. And so modified powerbomb for the win here. Ridge Holland then continues to beat down Osborne, dumps on the outside, and just smashes him on the announce table. Andre Chase's music hits. Andre Chase comes down to the ring. So this is the first time we've seen Andre Chase since Heat Wave, and he chases off Ridge Holland. So I'm gonna assume that either if not before Halloween Havoc, if they don't do this match before Halloween Havoc, I can see them doing Ridge Holland versus Andre Chase at Halloween Havoc or beforehand. We'll see there. But yeah. Ashante the Adonis, who was having a cringe ass gimmick, being a fucking flirty man. Oh my god, it's a cringe gimmick. He took on Brent Jensen, who has Sean Spears in his corner. Brooke Jensen got the match here. DDT for the win. Who I didn't give a single fuck about this match. I don't care about Shanti Adonis and Brooke Jensen's. All right, I think Brooke Jensen is related to Bull Buchanan. I believe so. Yeah, Bull Buchanan. He's the son. Okay. Of yeah. So yeah. Main event. Triple threat match for the NXT. No, not for the title. It's the number one contenders match to see faces Trick Williams at Halloween Havoc for the NXT Championship. Giovanna Evans, Wesley, and Ethan Page. This match was fantastic. Excellent main event here on NXT. So I'm gonna go to the more towards the end of the match. Here. So we go back for break here. Lee and Evans start exchanging right hands with one another because earlier in the show. What was it? So before I go into where I was going here. So how Javon Evans got into this match is his performance against Randy Orton last week in the main event of NXT got him into this match as well. Wesley confronted Javon Evans earlier in the night, saying, you know, you still ain't ready for this, dog. Basically saying, no, you're not ready. So that's how we got here. So like I said, Javon Evans and Wesley are exchanging right hands. One another in the ring. Lee turns Evans inside out with a clothesline. Ethan Page gets back into the ring to fire off some stomps on both of them. Body slams Evans onto Lee. You know, they keep going back and forth here. Later on, Page getting ready to set up for Ego's Edge onto Evans as Javon Evans is getting ready to hit the final blow onto Wesley. Page but you know, does all that stuff here. Lee prevents Page from hitting the Eagle's Edge. Page pulls him off and Evans off the ropes with I think it was like almost like a powerbomb suplex combination thing there. Evans then super kicks Page out of the ring, delivers a Tolhilo onto Lee off the ropes, pins Wesley, but Ethan Page sneaks in to give a roll up onto Javon Evans, and Ethan Page is going to get another crack at the NXT Championship at Halloween Havoc. After the match, Ethan Page tells Trick Williams that he won't give up on chasing the NXT Championship as long as there's air in his lungs. He calls Trick out into the ring so they can spin the wheel, and ends up landing on Devil's Playground. And Page clocks Trick Williams, what I think was a stage light, and stands over Trick Williams as the show goes off the air. So excellent main event. Overall, a solid episode of NXT. Now we know what's happening next week. We do know that, like I said, Sky Pirates will go on to face Jakara Jackson and Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. Will most likely get their win back from after losing on Raw last night, quote unquote. And Stephanie Vaquer will team with Giulia to take on a Fatal Influence. I don't know if anything else was announced for NXT next week. I could be wrong, but let me look beforehand. But I'm not entirely sure. Let me see. Let me look here. Let me do some looking here. I want to make sure there's nothing else announced for next week here. So, okay, so I think it's okay. Here we go. So the only things announced for next week are the 2 women's tag matches, and then NASCAR competitor Cole Custer is going to be on the show as well. So that's basically it for NXT when it comes to that. But I do, before I go, I'm going to give some sad news, unfortunately. I can't believe we'll leave it on sad news. But we had another death in the wrestling world. Former Ring of Honor Chief Operating Officer Joe Koff passed away today at the age of 73. Of course, he ran Ring of Honor from 2011 until, I want to say, 2022, question mark? But that was when it was owned by Sinclair Broadcast. He was apparently battling cancer. So my thoughts and prayers go out to Joe Koff's family. So that is a terrible, little terrible, sad news there. While I'm on the air, not on the air, but while I'm on recording, I might as well give out some. Actually, no, I ain't gonna worry about the NXT level up stuff here. So, what could be added to NXT? Oh, by the way, another thing, I forgot to mention this because this is something I was on the show and I missed it because, you know, the place I was watching it on decided to be a dick about their streaming. Delta, they had another vignette for Delta. This time they actually showed Delta on the screen, so she is coming. Possibly the likelihood of her wrestling her first match is most likely going to be Halloween Havoc, because it says 10/27, and obviously that's the date for Halloween Havoc. So we'll see what she does on that show. She might wrestle on that show. We don't know, but we'll find out. We will find out. So yeah. Other than that, I thought tonight was a very good episode of NXT. A lot of things further, some more storylines. So we'll see. I thought they were really going to go do the Fatal 4-Way match. They're not. Thank God, because I do not want to see Cora Jade wrestling for the NXT Championship in 2024. So, yeah. I will see you guys back here tomorrow for following AEW Dynamite for the Pile Driver Pulse. We're going to go over a lot of stuff, including Russell's Dream. We're also going to talk about the teams that are going to be announced for the Guys Tag League. Finally, it took Stardom much long enough. We're going to go over the top 10, 250. The 250 TWI stuff. Some very surprising names that got to the top 10. We're going to go over that tomorrow as well. And some that I'm not too thrilled about. Well, we're going to talk about that and much, much more. So I've been the Misfit. This has been the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. Until then, we're out.